Bonjour, nous allons discuter la quantité et la fréquence. La quantité, of course, means the quantity. So we want to talk about how do we answer the question, how much of something do we have? Combien? So here you have a series, like a range of, these are all basically either adjectives or adverbs, depending on how we use them in the sentence, because they're going to modify either a verb, which would make them an adverb, or an adjective, which would make them an adverb, or if they're modifying a noun, they'd be an adjective. But at any rate, that grammar stuff is probably not too big of a concern. These are really easy to use. So if we go over to the one end of the spectrum, you probably already know half of these. Trop or trop de means too or too much, T-O-O, too. For example, j'ai trop de devoirs. I have too much homework. So on those two little lines, you want to make notes and you want to write down that these mean too or too much, T-O-O. Next, we have beaucoup, beaucoup de, and that means a lot. J'ai beaucoup de devoirs. I have a lot of homework. All right. Next, we've got kind of a middle ground. Here, we're not so much talking about an adjective or an adverb. Here, we're really just using, what are these called? An article. So we've got, if we wanted to say like, I have some homework, or I have an assignment. J'ai des devoirs. I have some homework. J'ai un examen. I have a test. So here, you know, un, une, des, they mean an, or a, or some. Du, de la, de l'apostrophe and des, those all mean some. So for example, j'ai de la pizza. I have some pizza. Or j'ai du chocolat. I have some chocolate. And so whether you choose du or de la or de l'apostrophe or des depends on whether the word being modified is masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. Okay? Du you use with masculine, singular. De la, feminine, singular. De l'apostrophe when something starts with a vowel. And des for a plural. All right? Next, we've got un peu or un peu de, which means a little or a little bit of. J'ai un peu de devoir. I have a little bit of homework. I have a little homework. Finally, we have pas or pas de, which means I do not have any. Je n'ai pas de devoir. None. D'accord? I don't have. And you guys know how pas works. Okay? Let's move on to la fréquence. La fréquence, now we're talking about adverbs, adjectives of frequency. Actually, I think these are all adverbs. So we're talking about how often does something happen. So again, I think you probably know either all of these or almost all of these. If we start at the far left, tous les jours, we learned this already. It means every day, all the time. Toujours, always. Okay, so you want to take some notes. Tous les jours means every day. Toujours means always. I guess if you know the expression tout le temps, that means all the time. That's another one that could fit in here. Tout le temps. Next, we move over to souvent and normalement. Souvent means often. J'ai souvent des devoirs means I have homework a lot or I have it often. Normalement means normally. Normalement, j'ai des devoirs. Normally, I have homework. Whenever you see that ment suffix, that's like the ly suffix in English. That's your adverb suffix. So anything that ends in ment, like, I don't even know, normalement, spécialement, there's a million. I'm not thinking of any right now. Right in the middle, we have parfois or quelquefois, and that means sometimes. Either one of those, they're interchangeable. Parfois, j'ai des devoirs. Sometimes I have homework. Ou j'ai quelquefois des devoirs. I have homework sometimes. Or j'ai des devoirs de temps en temps is one that you're maybe more familiar with. Okay, so those all mean sometimes, from time to time. Next, we have rarement. Rarely. J'ai rarement des devoirs. I rarely have homework. Another way of saying that would be to say, je n'ai pas souvent des devoirs. I do not have homework often. So that might be a way that you could express it as well. Jamais means never. Je n'ai jamais des devoirs. And note, when you use jamais, you do not use pas. Jamais goes in place of pas, and so it works together with ne, and ne and jamais go around the verb. Je n'ai jamais de devoirs. Je ne mange jamais du poisson. Je ne travaille jamais après le dîner, par exemple. Okay, so then in both of these, when you're ready, you're going to move on to the application. There's application A, where you're going to use the adverbs and adjectives of quantity. J'ai trop de problèmes. So tell me, what does that mean in English? So these are all pretty straightforward. You're just going to translate into English. Same thing here. J'ai mon Chromebook tous les jours. So what does that mean? The only other thing I want to show you in this short lesson here is a little bit of how, if you were writing, where would you put these words in the sentence? Where do they go? So if we just look briefly at this slide, it says many of the words for quantity and frequency are adverbs. Adverbs modify verbs, or they modify adjectives, or other adverbs or word groups. In French, adverbs are generally placed right after the verb they modify. J'ai souvent des devoirs. So have, that's the verb. So the adverb's going to go right after it. J'ai souvent des devoirs. Now note, this is not how we do it in English. Okay, so you can't rely on your English word order here. You have to kind of think about the rule that the adverb usually goes after the verb. Madame Wayman parle beaucoup. Mrs. Wayman talks a lot. A lot is modifying talk, right? It's not modifying Mrs. Wayman. It's modifying how she talks or how often she talks. Now, the rule can bend a little bit for very long or compound adverbs. They can be placed at the start or the end of the sentence, and it's just because they're so long. So, for example, nous avons des devoirs de temps en temps. Okay, so that one's kind of long. Normalement can kind of stand alone as well, like normalement, j'ai des devoirs, or j'ai normalement des devoirs. You can do it either way. All right, there you go. There you have it. I hope this was helpful, and good luck on les applications. Don't forget to submit to Canvas 2 photos, clearly one of each page, nice and close so I can see your work when you're done. Merci.